The real issue here is not about who says they do not need a show. The real issue is about whether the show still needs them. That difference matters more than people want to admit. In reality television, words do not carry as much weight as behavior. Someone can say they are done, that they walked away for peace, or that they chose mental health over cameras, but when that same person keeps talking about the show, keeps reacting to bloggers, keeps explaining their side online, and keeps inserting themselves into the conversation, it becomes clear that the attachment is still there. The door may feel closed emotionally, but it is not fully shut mentally. The more important question is whether production still sees that door is open on their end. Reality television does not work on feelings. It works on structure, timing, and control. Every decision is measured by how it affects the final product. Comebacks are not based on sympathy. They are based on value. A return only happens when both sides benefit. The cast member must feel the return is worth the stress, the exposure, and the cost to their personal life. At the same time, the producers and the network must believe that bringing that person back will improve the show. If either side feels unsure, the answer becomes very simple. The return does not happen. Many people misunderstand this process because they view it through an emotional lens. Fans often think loud support online equals power. They think trending topics and comment sections force production to act. But that is not how networks operate. Networks look at numbers, patterns, and long-term stability. They care about ratings, budgets, and production flow. They care about whether a cast member helps the show run smoothly or makes it harder to manage. Popularity alone is not enough if it comes with problems behind the scenes. This is why it matters when someone says, "It's okay to admit you want to come back." That statement is more honest than people realize. Many former or sidelined cast members do want to return. Fame in reality television is fragile. It depends on constant visibility. When episodes stop airing, attention fades. Interviews slow down, invitations stop coming. The phone does not ring the same way. That silence can be loud. That is often when people realize how much the platform mattered, even if they claimed they were above it. Looking at the ratings of Love and Marriage Huntsville puts everything into perspective. The show already reached its highest point years ago. Season 5 brought the strongest numbers, close to 500,000 viewers. After that, the numbers declined. Seasons 4 and 3 followed, and later seasons settled into lower but stable territory. The current season sits between 200,000 and 300,000 viewers. That may sound low compared to peak years, but it is still strong enough to keep the show alive. It is still profitable. From a network standpoint, that matters. Because the show is still standing, production has leverage. They are not desperate. They do not need to make risky choices to survive. When a show is struggling, producers may take chances. When a show is stable, they become selective. They focus on keeping production smooth, cast dynamics manageable, and storytelling predictable. They are less likely to bring back someone who could disrupt that balance. This is where many people misunderstand how casting decisions are made. It is not about who trends the loudest online. It is about who fits into the production system without causing chaos. One of the biggest challenges producers face today is audience behavior. There is a clear difference between viewers who simply watch the show and viewers who investigate it. Some fans watch, react, and move on. Others analyze every edit, screenshot scenes, track timelines, compare interviews, and call out inconsistencies publicly. While that level of engagement may feel empowering to viewers, it creates problems for networks. It turns entertainment into debate. It takes control away from production. When a cast member fuels that behavior by going live, sharing receipts, correcting scenes in real time, and speaking directly to fans, it becomes a public relations issue. It also becomes a production risk. Networks prefer controlled storytelling. They want reveals saved for episodes and reunions. They want tension to build naturally. When someone bypasses that system and explains everything online before episodes air, the story loses its impact. The reunion loses its power. The audience already feels informed, so there's nothing left to uncover. This is especially important when discussing producers who are known for structured storytelling. Clear heroes and villains, emotional arcs, and planned reveals are not accidents. They are carefully designed. When a cast member predicts edits and responds publicly before episodes even air, that design falls apart. From a production standpoint, that is dangerous. Reality television relies on delayed truth. That may not feel fair, but it is how the format works. Producers expect honesty behind the scenes, cooperation on camera, and discretion online. When someone breaks that trust by exposing production choices or framing themselves as being mistreated in real time, they're no longer seen as cooperative, they're seen as unpredictable. This is where the idea of liability comes in. Liability doesn't always mean legal trouble. Sometimes it simply means too much work, too many phone calls, too many complaints, too much damage control, too many explanations. Networks do not want to manage chaos when they don't have to. Even high-value personalities can be quietly labeled as not worth the headache.
Another major factor is cast refusal. Reality television depends on group scenes. Dinners, trips, events, and reunions are the backbone of filming. When one person's presence causes multiple cast members to refuse to film, production has to make a choice. Do they risk losing several core cast members to accommodate one return? That is not an emotional decision, it is a numbers game. If bringing one person back means split filming, duplicated scenes, higher costs, and scheduling problems, production efficiency drops, budgets stretch, the final product suffers. In those situations, it is often easier to let one person go than to rebuild the entire show around them. Safety concerns make that decision even easier. Claims of emotional distress, unsafe environments, or harmful conditions tied to filming raise red flags. Networks are extremely cautious about anything that could later be framed as forcing someone into harm. Even the appearance of that risk can shut the door quickly. Legal teams exist to prevent these situations before they start. This is why online behavior matters more than people realize. Going back and forth with bloggers, threatening exposure, rallying fans, or encouraging boycotts does not help a return case. It hurts it. It signals instability. It suggests that production will not be able to control the narrative. From a producer's perspective, control is everything. Once control is lost, leverage disappears. When a cast member tells their entire story online before episodes air, there is nothing left to show. The audience already feels informed. The show loses its power to surprise. That weakens the entire format. There's also confusion around influence and connections. Saying you are well-connected does not guarantee opportunity. Being adjacent to people in the industry is not the same as being valuable to a network. Producers care about one thing above all else. Does this person improve the show without damaging the process? When someone says they do not need the show but continues to chase relevance by commenting on it, that contradiction is noticed. Producers pay attention to patterns. They remember who made production harder and who made it easier. Reality television favors low-maintenance talent. That does not mean boring, it means manageable. Manageable talent understands the rules of the format. They know when to speak and when to stay quiet. They save big moments for the camera. They respect the process, even when it does not feel fair. Those who refuse to do that often remove themselves from future opportunities without realizing it. At the end of the day, wanting to come back is not enough. Being allowed back requires alignment. Alignment with producers, alignment with cast, alignment with network goals, alignment with audience expectations. When that alignment is broken, the answer is usually no. Not every door closes loudly. Some doors simply stop opening. That quiet closing of doors is something many people do not recognize until it is too late. In public, nothing dramatic happens. There is no official announcement. There is no clear rejection. Instead, communication slows. Calls stop being returned. Meetings never get scheduled. Conversations that once felt open suddenly feel distant. From the outside, it looks like nothing changed. Behind the scenes, everything has. This is why people often misread silence as possibility. They assume no answer means maybe. In reality television, no answer usually means a decision has already been made. Producers rarely argue publicly. They rarely explain their choices in detail. They move forward without the person and let time do the talking. That is often the clearest signal. Another thing people misunderstand is how long production memories are. Reality television may move fast on screen, but behind the scenes, nothing is forgotten quickly. Networks track behavior over years, not seasons. They remember who followed rules and who challenged them. They remember who kept private issues private and who made them public. They remember who respected contracts and who tested boundaries. Even when someone believes they were standing up for themselves, production may view it differently. From their perspective, the issue is not who was right or wrong. The issue is whether the situation created risk. A risky cast member does not need to break laws or violate contracts. They only need to make production harder than necessary. This is where many fans struggle to understand the bigger picture. Viewers see moments, producers see systems. Fans focus on fairness, networks focus on function. A show is not built around one person's truth. It is built around group dynamics, timelines, and long-term planning. When one person disrupts that system, even unintentionally, they become less appealing as an asset. The idea of control often sounds harsh, but it is central to reality television. Control does not mean lying about everything. It means deciding when information is released, how it is framed, and where it fits into the story. When cast members take that control into their own hands, the format stops working the way it was designed. That loss of control affects more than just one storyline.
It impacts editing, promotion, and reunion planning. Editors rely on footage being the main source of truth. Promoters rely on curiosity and suspense. Reunion hosts rely on unresolved tension. When everything is explained ahead of time on social media, those elements disappear. This is why producers are careful about who they trust. Trust is built through consistency. A cast member does not need to be perfect, they need to be predictable. Predictability allows production to plan. When behavior becomes reactive, emotional, or unpredictable, planning becomes impossible. There is also a financial side that rarely gets discussed publicly. Every delay costs money. Every schedule change costs money. Every extra meeting costs money. When one cast member causes multiple adjustments, budgets are affected. That matters even on shows that seem successful. Profit margins are not endless. When production looks at costs versus benefits, they ask a simple question: is this person worth the extra effort? If the answer is unclear, the safer choice is usually no. That decision does not require drama, it only requires logic. This also explains why some people are surprised when others are brought back instead. Fans may see those cast members as less exciting, production may see them as reliable. Reliability is valuable. A person who shows up, films without issue, follows guidelines, and keeps disputes on camera is easier to work with than someone who brings constant tension off camera. Another uncomfortable truth is that online support does not always translate to ratings. Loud fans do not always represent large audiences. Producers know the difference. They look at viewership trends, not comment sections. They care about who keeps casual viewers watching, not just who sparks debate online. This is why being controversial does not guarantee job security. Controversy can attract attention, but it can also scare advertisers. Advertisers prefer stability. They prefer predictable environments. If a cast member creates too much uncertainty, that affects more than just the show. There is also the issue of cast chemistry. Reality television depends on interaction. When relationships become so broken that filming together feels forced or unsafe, the show suffers. Producers would rather protect the group than cater to one person. That is not personal, it is practical. People often assume that because someone was once important, they will always be needed. That is not true in this genre. Reality television evolves quickly. New dynamics form, new stories emerge. What once felt essential can become replaceable over time. This is where ego becomes a problem. When someone believes the show cannot exist without them, they may push boundaries, they may speak too freely, they may test limits. From their perspective, they are asserting power. From production's perspective, they are proving why replacement is necessary. Power in reality television is quiet. It is held by those who control access. Producers decide who gets screen time. Networks decide who gets contracts. That power does not need to be announced. It is shown through decisions. When someone keeps talking about the show while claiming they do not care, that contradiction weakens their position. It signals unfinished business. It suggests dependency rather than independence. Producers notice that. They understand that relevance is being chased, not avoided. This is not to say that speaking out is always wrong, but timing matters, platform matters, approach matters. There is a difference between addressing issues privately and airing everything publicly. Networks reward those who understand that difference. Another factor is long-term brand impact. Networks think beyond one season. They think about syndication, streaming, and future deals.
They do not want unresolved conflicts to follow the show forever. Clean storytelling is easier to sell than constant chaos. When someone becomes associated with disruption rather than contribution, that association sticks. Even if the person believed they were treated unfairly, the label still exists. Labels in this industry are hard to remove. This is why some people fade out quietly rather than being officially removed. Quiet exits reduce backlash. They allow the show to move forward without drawing attention to internal decisions. From a network standpoint, that is ideal. Fans may want closure, but networks prioritize continuity. They do not owe explanations, they owe delivery. As long as the show continues to perform at an acceptable level, the strategy is considered successful. At the end of the day, reality television is not about who deserves a platform, it is about who fits the machine. The machine values order, control, and cooperation. When those things are disrupted, even unintentionally, the machine keeps moving without that person. That is the part many people struggle to accept. The system does not pause for personal journeys. It does not wait for healing. It does not adjust for emotions. It moves forward based on efficiency. This does not make the system kind, it makes it consistent. Understanding that consistency helps explain decisions that seem cold from the outside. When viewed through that lens, many choices become clearer. What looks like a power move is often just maintenance. What looks like rejection is often just alignment failing. When alignment is gone, the outcome is predictable. The show continues, production adapts, new stories fill the space, and the silence left behind speaks louder than any statement ever could.